on the topics of fad diets, I don't think there's one particular definition of a fad diet. I mean, we generally understand what they are, right? But they are backed by money. Money makes the world go around. Money is usually the answer for most things, but it's not the answer to why we create content, as much as people always say, you're just doing it for the money. No, money does not drive content creators, but it does definitely help us. Fasting, aka not eating. There's no money behind not eating because you can't sell a product if someone's not going to eat, which is why fasting has not been, I don't think it's ever been pushed for decades. Maybe they didn't have the knowledge of fasting as well. Do you think fasting is a fad diet?
No, because in fasting, you're not eating anything. It's not a fad diet. It's actually a schedule of eating.
It's not a diet.
It's not a diet.
A diet is what you
eat.
Fasting is...
You're not eating.
It's when you eat.
It's when you eat. And it's backed up by science that fasting can really help a lot because it decreases your toxin level, it decreases your inflammatory pathways, and it even regenerates your mitochondria. That's why you get a lot of energy. Even you know people who are doing fasting and then they get a lot of energy afterwards. So fasting is really it's been on for decades. It's been on for centuries, I think, because our primal ancestors sometimes they don't eat.
Yeah. So when me and Dr. Dex first met on our first podcast, we talked about I guess the importance of primal living. Living like our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, just keeping things simple. Yeah, doing what's natural. And fasting is very natural to humans because back then, like, we're going to go to the Paleolithic era, the caveman era, right?
Yeah.
Humans didn't have the luxury to eat every single day. Yeah. Sometimes you get a big meal, you catch an elephant or whatever, and you can eat that. Yeah, and and you just feast for a day, and then some days you have nothing. So it's actually natural for the human body to not be eating 24/7, which is crazy because I remember when I was in high school 15 years ago. Damn, I'm old. 15 years ago, they were pushing that you should always be eating because it keeps your metabolism going and it keeps your metabolism fast, which this has all been, from my knowledge, like completely debunked. And now we figured out fasting is way healthier than constantly eating, which constantly keeps your blood glucose level shot up and everything. It's crazy, huh?
Plus, the fact that when you're asleep, you're fasting.
Yeah.
When you're gonna get blood for your for blood examinations, you go fasting. When you're going to get a surgery, you go fasting. Well, to cut the long story short, fasting really helps.
I always fast whenever I do some like interviews or when I have projects, just because for me personally, I feel a lot sharper. And then you know what? It's like I have no appetite if I'm gonna go on a stage, if I'm gonna shoot for a commercial, for a vlog. My appetite just goes away because it's like my mind is so focused. It's a weird sensation, and I don't know if that's part of ketosis or...
It is actually part of ketosis.
Yeah.
Because your brain is not wandering anymore. And it's focused on one thing. So fasting really helps. It's one of our my programs on what we call as medically supervised fasting. So,
cool. So you do promote fasting?
Well, yeah, I do promote fasting for people who are
for normal people without, of course.
Yeah, without, of course,
known comorbidities that might make it weird, like anorexia or body
I do.
Like that.
Yeah, I do help people go into their fasting state, and then I do help people start their fasting.
In the Philippines, well, I assume most doctors are old.
Yeah.
Most doctors I meet are old. Like, you're one of the younger doctors. But older doctors obviously were taught way different in the 80s or 90s. So do you know if like the older traditional doctors advocate for fasting or like newer found lifestyles?
Yeah, there are doctors who do not believe in fasting.
Yeah.
There are doctors who do believe.
That blows my mind. That's crazy because the data and the science, it's all there.
Yeah.
but it's like they were trained. I mean, what they learned was so different 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're just not going to change after 40 years.
Yeah, because, well, they were taught differently, number one.
They were taught,
and then the evidence are just coming out. There are the studies are just coming out, and then maybe they're just not updated. It boils down to being updated naman eh.
That's it. Have you ever got into it with other doctors?
Well, oo naman. Ang dami. Maraming nagtatanong.
But you're young.
Yeah, I am.
So it's tough because obviously older people look down on younger people because they think they're stupid. And I'm one of those people. Like if a 16-year-old's trying to lecture me about health, I'm going to be a little adverse to what they're telling me because they're young. So I believe I know more than them because I've been on planet Earth twice as long as them.
Yeah.
So yeah, how does that work with you and other doctors? Do you try and convince them, or do you just...
No, I just brush it off.
Yeah.
Because I know that they're just not updated.
Yeah.
And maybe the way they were taught lang siguro is not the way I know things. Because some of the doctors don't really know about nutrition.
Actually, most doctors do not know about nutrition.
Because we only have around 4 hours of nutrition class for the last four years of our medical school proper.
I'm so glad you can say that on not me. I don't think I've ever said this publicly because I would just get bashed by all doctors, right? But it's facts.
Yeah.
You were a nutritionist.
Before I became a doctor.
Yes. So you studied nutrition.
I studied nutrition for 5 years at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. And then while doing medical school, I do get consults for nutrition. While I was in medical school, parang kapag hapon na, after going to the classes, I do get nutrition consultations, referrals from other professionals. So I have never been out of the loop in nutrition. And minsan yung mga kaklase ko na doctors, when we do have nutrition classes, tinutulugan pa nila. So, because it's boring and it's an absolute mess. You just brisk through.
And they're not there to study nutrition. They just want to be doctors.
Yeah, they just want to be doctors and then maybe be a cardiologist, be a surgeon, be it a pulmonologist, an endocrinologist, or a cardiothoracic surgeon. Those highfalutin specializations. Me, I just want to take care of my mom. I just want to take care of my dad, know the data, and use nutrition as one of the modes of treatment. Because I've been studying nutrition for the last 14 years of my life already.
If you liked what you saw and you want to listen to the full episode, then download Spotify and follow us at Superhuman with Will Dasovich. It's completely free, it's linked below and easy to use.